Alright, let's dive into something that's both jaw-dropping and deeply concerning. A massive iceberg, roughly the size of Manhattan, has just broken off from Greenland's Petermann Glacier. But here's the thing, this isn't just a random chunk of ice floating away. It's a symptom of a much larger, more complex story about our planet. So, let's break this down. First off, what makes this really interesting is the scale and timing of this event. The Petermann Glacier has been shedding icebergs for years, but this one is particularly significant. It's the largest calving event since 2012, and scientists have been anticipating it for a while. Personally, I think what's most striking here is how this event underscores the accelerating pace of glacial retreat. It's not just about one iceberg, it's about the trend. If you take a step back and think about it, this is part of a broader pattern of polar ice loss that's happening faster than many models predicted. Now, let's talk about why this matters. The Petermann Glacier is one of Greenland's largest marine terminating glaciers, and its ice tongue, that's the part that extends out into the ocean, is a critical component of the glacier's stability. When chunks like this break off, it's like removing a buttress from a cathedral. The whole structure becomes more vulnerable. What many people don't realize is that these calving events aren't just about losing ice, they're about destabilizing entire glacial systems. And that has massive implications for sea level rise. Here's a detail I find fascinating. The new ice island is up to 492 feet thick and covers an area of about 29.5 square miles. That's not just a chunk of ice, it's a floating piece of Earth's history. Ice islands like this are rare in the Arctic, and they offer scientists a unique opportunity to study how these massive ice masses form, move, and eventually disintegrate. From my perspective, this is a natural laboratory that's drifting into the ocean, and we're lucky to have the technology to track it. But here's the kicker, this isn't a one-off event. Researchers are already anticipating at least 2 more calving events from Petermann Glacier in the near future. These rifts have been forming for years, and they're not going to stop. If these projections hold, we're looking at a total reduction of about 22% of the glacier's floating ice. That's staggering. What this really suggests is that we're witnessing a fundamental transformation of Greenland's ice sheet, and it's happening right before our eyes. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This raises a deeper question, what does this mean for the rest of the world? As these ice islands drift into the ocean, they pose immediate risks, hazards to shipping, offshore infrastructure, and even ecosystems. But the long-term implications are even more profound. Melting ice from Greenland is one of the biggest contributors to global sea level rise. Personally, I think we're still underestimating how quickly these changes are happening and how they'll reshape coastlines and communities in the decades to come. One thing that immediately stands out is the role of satellite technology in all of this. Without tools like the European Space Agency's Sentinel-1 mission, we wouldn't even know these events were happening in real time. It's a reminder of how critical it is to invest in monitoring systems. But it also highlights a paradox. We're using cutting-edge technology to document a crisis that's largely driven by human activity. If you think about it, that's both impressive and deeply ironic. So, where does this leave us? In my opinion, this isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's a wake-up call. The Petermann Glacier is a canary in the coal mine for what's happening across the Arctic and beyond. We're seeing the consequences of global warming play out in real time, and it's not pretty. But here's the thing, understanding these events gives us a chance to act. We can't stop this iceberg from drifting away, but we can work to slow down the forces that are breaking it off in the first place. As we close out, I'll leave you with this thought, what if these calving events are just the beginning? What if the changes we're seeing in Greenland are a preview of what's to come for other ice sheets around the world? It's a sobering question, but it's one we need to grapple with. Because, at the end of the day, this isn't just about an iceberg, it's about the future of our planet. So, what do you think? Are we doing enough to address this, or are we just watching as the ice slips away?